Back. Welcome back to Smitty's Corner. So, we're going to go ahead and knock this out the way. This brother right here who does his shows, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. American Confidential. So, y'all need to go subscribe. But with that being said, right, this is interesting to me because remember how I did the whole three-part series on the rapper YBC Duel, aka Mr. Disrespectful. Now it comes to find out they have caught the culprit. Who's the culprit? Man, this is something. So I have my own take, my own spin on this, but with that being said, I'm not even going to hold us. This episode was brought to you by Fair Use, Fair Use, Fair Use. I digress. My mic is muted. Let's go ahead and rock out.
Metal one from Mount Airy Church Club 600.26.
16-year-old has been charged with the murder of another teenager and another man who was a West Philadelphia rapper. The teen also faces charges in 4 other shootings just last month. District Attorney Larry Krasner announced the arrest of Aiden Waters today. Prosecutors say he killed 25-year-old Abdul Vix on North Fairhill Street last month. Waters is also accused of shooting into a car filled with teens just a few days before. In that shooting on East Duncannon Street, a 16-year-old was killed.
A 16-year-old unleashed a reign of terror on the city of Philadelphia in the course of a little more than 2 weeks, taking the life of another 16-year-old, injuring 5 others, and also killing YBC Duel. This investigation started with the death of Abdul Vix, or YBC Duel, which began almost immediately. The Gun Violence Task Force, homicide detectives, and evidence gatherers all worked together to crack the case. Surveillance footage, fingerprints, ballistics evidence, and jail calls proved crucial in identifying suspects according to the affidavit of probable cause.
Now, I'm going to say this to kick it off, right? So my whole thing is, as far as when it comes to how long he was able to go ahead and do whatever it was that he was doing, man, I'm going to tell you right now, that's something that really, really baffles me. You know, we have a whole lot of our youth out here who are definitely, unfortunately, terrorizing neighborhoods. This is a young domestic terrorist. He's going around, and what's sad is that these are kids and these are our youth. These are our warrior class who should be growing, and we don't get a chance to really pass on anything, and there's a lot that will be lost the more of us who pass away at such a young age. And it's like, for what? But we're going to figure out exactly why did this young blood do this. Let's go ahead and keep rocking out.
For Waters' arrest, Aiden Waters allegedly paid a friend $100 to steal a car for him in Cheltenham. That car, a white Kia Sportage, was later used as the getaway car in a gunpoint robbery outside of Live Casino on August 17th, and then days later in the killing of YBC Duel, the record said. On August 18th, the day after the casino robbery, a shooting on the 500 block of Centner Street occurred. 9mm casings and 7.62 shells were recovered from the scene. Early on the morning of August 19th, Aiden Waters is also said to be involved in a double shooting on the 200 block of East Duncannon Avenue that resulted in the murder of 16-year-old Marquise Sanders and the wounding of 5 other individuals.
Yeah, well, Jackie, like you mentioned, a 16-year-old has sadly lost his life from gunshot wounds. We're told that the other 16-year-old is in stable condition. Police are still trying to find a motive here, rather, and it has left the Olney neighborhood asking for more police presence in their neighborhood and close to that high school.
You know what baffles me when I hear that, okay, all right, cool, more police presence, I can get with that, but when are we going to have more parental presence? This is a 16-year-old. Where are the parents? Where are the aunts and uncles? Where are those neighbors that's like, get off my lawn, but at the same time, old Mr. Wilson still has your best interest in mind? Where are those of the elders in the community This is the part that I have a hard time with. Okay, cool. Like, because I always hear my people, we will say continuously, time after time, we need more of us to go ahead and patrol and police our own. I remember that was a big thing at one point. We was trying to come up with our own policing. Well, this is a prime example of why we should go ahead and step up more. If you're going to do that, then here's your opportunity. Here is your chance to go ahead and step up and police your own neighborhoods. Look at the terrorism that's going on, but I get it at the same time. When we got these youngins out here who don't want to listen, and you're like, I'm not stepping out there getting shot because I'm trying to tell them don't litter in front of the house. I get it. I get it. But I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it really the state that failed this young man? Was it ESPN that failed this young man? Or was it the community in which this young man resides in that failed him? I think we need to think about that a little bit more, but let's keep rocking out.
It's a shooting with two crime scenes. The first along the 200 block of East on Cannon Avenue near the only Charter High School's track, where police responded to shots around 2:30 in the morning. The other on Whitaker and Hunting Park Avenues, where a driver of a vehicle carrying the two teens shot flagged down police.
It does appear that they were both shot at close range. It does appear that they were targeted.
One 16-year-old is dead after being struck in the head. The other grazed in the ear and...
Now, you know why this is so tough for someone like me? My daughter, she is 16. So, I mean, as a father, sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, you know, when we were coming up, yes, we did have our instances where things happen, but it was such a shock. It was such a surprise. It was such a traumatizing moment that, like, it wasn't often, is what I'm saying. But now it is such a everyday thing. The desensitization that they have brought upon us. Why have they done that? So that when we are, executed, when we are, deleted earlier than what was expected or what should be, because we're so desensitized, we don't really make an uproar. That's right. Did you ever think about that and peep that? Because we are desensitized. I mean, hey, man, it happens. Hey, man, I mean, niggas die every day. Don't we hear that? Niggas die every day. So when you have that attitude now, are you really going to make sure that it doesn't keep happening every day? I would think not. What happens is they just get us to the point where we just see it and we just accept and we say, it is what it is. Is it really that, or is it that it is what it is because we allow it to be? Just something for you to take home with you. But let's keep rocking out.
Shoulder, at least 6 bullets.
It does appear that they were both shot at close range. It does appear that they were targeted.
One 16-year-old is dead after being struck in the head. The other grazed in the ear and shoulder. At least 6 bullet casings were found on the scene.
I get scared, but then I feel sad because I'm sometimes it could be your friends and everything. And this is too much.
14-year-old Ariana is an incoming freshman at Olney Charter High School. She was just leaving freshman orientation when she heard the news. News that sadly does not surprise her.
It's normal here, but I don't know how to feel about it.
According to...
Now, I want you to hear what she just said. She is a 14-year-old young girl, and I can see it the way she had her hand up to her mouth and everything. I could see it. I could see it. I could see how this is not normal. This is not natural. Look at how her whole response from what I saw internally was, I'm being broken into, when she said, I don't know how to feel about it. We always knew how to feel about something like that once upon a time. We knew it was something gut-wrenching. We knew it was something gruesome. We knew it was something that was we need to pray. That we knew it was something that we didn't want to continue to happen. But unfortunately, even with that, it does still continue to keep happening, and even to the day. But I want us to pay attention to how she responded to that. She don't even know what to say. Let's keep rocking out.
Police data so far this year, 109 young people between the ages 12 to 18 have been shot. A number less than last year's, but still an alarming trend. A trend that's too prevalent in this only neighborhood, according to a neighbor who wanted to remain anonymous.
I really would like to see more cops here at this area where, you're filming.
I would really love to see more parents really buckle down and take a hold and stop trying to be your child's friend. Do we not recognize, like, you know how many times I have looked and I've seen and I'm like, you know what? Okay, they're doing all these videos, they're dissing ops, they're on IG live, and they got all these hundreds of people and all that, and you have not a whiff of this. You don't see them flashing guns in their bedroom, which is in your house, or at their friend's house. And you're like, oh no, I know where he is. Yeah, he over Robbie's house. I'm about to call over there, or I'm about to drive, something, anything. I'm about to call his cell phone. You don't see your child on live doing all of this before it all happens and goes down. This is my angle of it. Everybody else, other content creators, gonna have their own angle. This is the Smitty's Corner angle. Where are the parents? Let's keep rocking out.
And I think that would help a little bit.
Police say 4 males or 4 suspects involved in this shooting got away in an SUV. At this moment, we don't have a description on those suspects, and no one is currently in custody. Outside of police headquarters, Yukari Nakayama, NBC 10 News.
Surveillance video obtained by investigators again captured the same vehicle used in the Centner Street shooting. Additional 9mm FCCs were also recovered from the shooting scene. Investigators also recovered 16 .762 fire cartridge casings from the scene. Surveillance video obtained by investigators captured the assailant's vehicle, a gray Hyundai Sonata, according to officials. Around 4 a.m., police recovered the shooter's getaway car, the gray Sonata, on the 6500 block of North 10th Street. Investigators were able to determine that a cell phone had connected to the car and downloaded the data associated with the phone, said Assistant District Attorney Sidney Pope, who was prosecuting the case. So
you got the Bluetooth in the car and everything else. Once upon a time, the whole mission of doing something like this was to do it and get away with it. Not do it and on purpose, leave no question, no reasonable doubt or anything for the federale, right? Once upon a time, if you were going to do something like this, which I don't condone, but you would at least try to get away with it. I have no clue as to this whole why we do it and then what we do it for. It's a whole different mission now. And it's a mission that's a crash dummy mission that we would call it. Once upon a time, everything they do now, we call that crash dummy missions. Let's keep going.
have 2 stolen cars and a gunpoint robbery at a casino, and a shooting that left a 16-year-old dead and the wounding of 5 other individuals. Within 24 hours of the killing of Marquis Sanders, tablet calls were recorded by Aiden Waters to other members of his fast break gang, bragging about the murder. In that way, Pope said they discovered a series of video calls between Waters and friends who were in jail. During calls on August 20th, Waters discussed a series of crimes using code words like scrimmage to describe the shooting and...
Oh my gosh. So you're part of Fast Break Gang. You once was on ESPN cover for actually being able to run fast. You should have I think God gave you that ability to run fast so that you could run as fast as you can away from your environment and make something of yourself and live long and be prosperous. Someone who was supposed to be an example. You were supposed to be a light, a shining hope. And you fumbled all of that. And what's sad is how many of us, if you look at it in a lot of the comic sections, we make a lot of fun of these things. We look at things as if like it's supposed to be laughed at. We take a lot of things that aren't supposed to be normalized and we make it normal. There are a lot of things that once upon a time we really steered clear from. But now, I don't know, it's like we run to it, we attract to it. We'll even go as far as to say demon time. But let's keep rocking on.
slam dunk to reference a homicide as if it were a basketball game, according to the affidavit. Quote, there were 2 different scrimmages in one day, Waters told his friend, according to the affidavit. Quote, 1 slam dunk and 1 went in and out. Then, on August 23rd, YBC Duel was fatally shot inside a vehicle on the 100 block of West Albany Avenue. Video of the murder was widely circulated on social media. Later that afternoon, the Philadelphia Fire Department responded to a report of a vehicle fire on the 6500 block of North 15th Street. Firefighters observed several FCCs inside the Kia Sportage and notified law enforcement. In my last video, there was some confusion as to where exactly he was shot, and the news misreported the street. And then I, in turn, misreported the street that he was killed on. And keen-eyed viewers were quick to point out the discrepancy. Later that week, a search warrant was executed for the vehicle, which was reported stolen in Cheltenham, as I mentioned earlier, over a week prior to the murder of YBC Duel. Multiple DNA swabs were recovered from the vehicle, as well as fingerprints, 2 7.62 FCCs and 1 9mm FCC, and 1 unfired 9mm cartridge. Detectives also recovered video footage of the getaway car and tracked it to a rear alleyway of a house on the 1700 block of 68th Street, where Waters lives, according to the affidavit.
And that's like, again, things that you do like this, if you're going to do it, most folks know, like, all right, so from where that red dot is, the location of where the actual incident happened is not that far. It's not that far at all. And then you go back there directly to your home, okay? And then from reports known is that the car was set on fire, but they were still able to retrieve some ballistics, enough ballistics to go ahead and make connections, right? All right, so at what point do we actually say to ourselves, I'm going to plan this out because the whole mission is to get away with it? No. Why did this young man do this? Did he do it for money? Was it like actually? Because from what we know, because before we found out who did it, there was word around town, there was like a huge money bounty hit. No. Got nothing. He did it for clout. He did it to make a name for himself. That's so sad. This young man already made a name for himself. You were on the cover of ESPN. What? Are you serious? Holding up basically like Olympic trophies. Necklaces. You know what I'm saying? You was holding up like the Olympic emblems, and you turn around and you think the way I need to make a name for myself is by doing this. So again, do we really need more police presence, or do we really need more elders and those of responsibility, those of better peers around? Do we not need more parental guidance? Is that not something like, because I don't want to put it off on the police, man. Nah, I'm going to look at who's raising these kids. Who did this young man live with? You see? But let's keep rocking on.
Video shows a young man police believe to be Aiden Waters get out of the car and attempt to cover his face before going inside the home. Several firearms and related gear were recovered in the course of the search of that very home. Through forensic examinations, surveillance videos, and witness statements, investigators were able to link Aiden Waters to these shootings. The day of the killing of Duel, the streets know who did it. Posts were made speculating, and as I mentioned in my last video, THF Philly was the first to report publicly what happened, and in turn, the streets talk. Remember in my last video, I said it was M24 involved and more details were to come? As far back as the 24th of August, a day after Duel's death, the speculation was that M24 had something to do with it. Then you had one Brody make his statement saying that if you want to blame him, go ahead. That's because Fast Break are the young boys of M24. A lot of other stuff was happening in the background, and the only reason I mentioned Brody or M24 was because he made a public statement. Now that an arrest has been made and the name Fast Break has been mentioned in the news, I can talk about it openly. Aiden Waters is from Nicetown, and he grew up playing football and ran track and field. Waters was apparently friends or friendly with Sear or Baby Doc from the Mott.
So before we get up out of here, look at everything that young man had going for him and what direction did the young man choose to take. If the young man didn't choose to take it, who didn't allow that young man to continue to make sure that he was steered clear of all of these things? Because our youth does need guidance. Didn't we need guidance? No matter how much we might have not listened, did they not stay on us? And is it not our job to keep that going on and just stay on them? Just stay on them. But with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. This has been your boy Smitty. Respect.